Castaways, ahoy! We are castaways.
Disclaimer. This video is about natural selection. While there are different forces that drive evolution such as genetic drift, this video focuses on the process where individuals in a population with beneficial traits will reproduce and be more common in the population, known as natural selection. This is Marty. He is a turtle. Marty and his turtle buddies live in South America. Haha JK. They like to eat apples on the ground. 3 to 2 million years ago, scientists predict Marty and his turtle friends found a raft and took it to the Galapagos Islands. And yes, they were
Castaways, ahoy! We are castaways.
Keep in mind that even though Marty and his friends are the same species, there are differences between them like all sexually reproducing species. Marty, like most turtles in this population, has a short neck and doesn't require a long one because in South America the apple were on the ground. However, a few of the turtles in this population have longer necks than usual. Now on the island Marty and his friends landed on, the apples are on the trees.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
And Marty's fake friends didn't give him apples like the short king he is.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just...
Anyway, as you can expect, most of the turtles with short necks died because they couldn't get food to live. That also includes short king Marty. Species and individuals don't evolve, but populations do. When we refer to evolution, it means that a genetic trait becomes more common. Individuals can't evolve as they can't willfully change their DNA or mutate. So as the turtles with long necks could eat apples off the trees and survived and bred with each other, so the next generation will have long necks and the next and so on. The turtles adapted to the environment over time and evolved to have longer necks. Now let's formalize this into 5 steps/principles. The first principle is overpopulation. So, before the tragic death of Marty, some turtles began reproducing to the point of overpopulation so the population would decline before reaching the carrying capacity, which is the most amount of individuals in the population. This is called overpopulation. The next principle is variation. There was variation or differences among the turtles. Some of the turtles had short necks like Marty, but some had long necks. The third one is inheritance. The turtles will breed and pass on their genetic data. The long turtles will pass on their DNA, which makes their offspring have a long neck, and vice versa with the short-necked turtles. Next is adaptation. The turtles who had short necks had a beneficial trait when they were in South America because the apples were on the ground, and the ones with longer necks had to use more energy to eat. Usually the individuals with the beneficial trait are more common in a population, and the genetic makeup of the population would only change if an outside force acts on it. When they went to the Galapagos Islands, the beneficial trait would change. Finally, the last principle is evolution. The one you have been waiting for. As the organisms with the good traits survive, they can reproduce and pass it on to their offspring. Eventually, with the following generations, the organisms will have the trait of their parents. So as the long-necked turtles survive and reproduce, they pass on their DNA. Let's match the following sentences with one of the 5 principles of natural selection. There are 2 types of rabbits, those that strictly eat green leaves and those that strictly eat berries and flowers. A drought happens one year, and the plants have difficulty producing flowers or berries. They can only try and keep themselves green. The rabbits have had babies all year long, but many are eaten by foxes or hawks. Due to the drought, many have starved to death, as well. Rabbits that eat green leaves reproduce and pass on the trait to their offspring. This is inheritance, as it says how the organisms passed on their DNA and their offspring inherited their DNA. Over time, due to the drought, rabbits that eat green leaves make up more of the population. Evolution, because this is the outcome of a natural event that affects the evolutionary fitness of the traits, and over time the population has changed. There are rabbits that eat green leaves and rabbits that eat berries. This is variation because there is different forms of herbivory that is decided by a genetic trait in the rabbits. Rabbits that eat green leaves survive and reproduce. This is adaptation, as the organisms with the helpful trait survived, reproduced, and passed on their genetic data to their offspring. The main thing separating adaptation from evolution is because typically in evolution it is explained how over time a genetic trait becomes more common in a population. In adaptation it is explained how organisms survive and pass on their genetic data. Now obviously the last one is going to be overpopulation, and it is the rabbits have babies and some foxes and hawks eat some of the babies. One mnemonic device to remember the principles of natural selection is every ape hates voracious orangutans. As this video ends, it is important to understand that an organism is born with their DNA and cannot change it to evolve and gain a beneficial trait. Speciation and evolution both occur over time, as nature selects which traits will help organisms survive and become more common over time.